Hello, friends. How you doing? I've been thinking a lot about the allowing window from when you've decided that you want something, and that space where you're shifting from not just deciding it, but taking the steps, seeing it come together, and then actually living it. That's like, I guess it's, if I'm being honest, I would say it's more important than what we do at the, like a full moon ritual, or even in that deciding, like those moments afterward, especially like, I like 5 days. 5 days has always been a great number for me. Because if there's been any dream that I've wanted to reach toward, or a new thought that I wanted to have realized by me, it's taken me about 5 days to get my intuition on board and to start giving me more. 5 days or less. And that depends on how much, like, oh God, that's not possibleness. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to talk a little bit about tonight and share what that space means and looks like to me for just anyone that is wondering about that. Because to me, I feel like people share rituals all day long, but we all do know that we don't just wake up and like the shit's there. There has to be a space. The ritual is when you plant the seed, you know? The allowing sessions and those moments of knowing and trusting and not resisting, that's where you're like tending to your garden. That kind of makes or breaks the manifestation. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about too. I like to teach unconditional love. Usually it begins with ourselves, and I've been learning about that word in another way that I think it kind of unlocked a little bit of a nugget for me when it comes to the teaching of manifesting. So my one teacher explains it as instead of unconditional, think unmanifested. What I learned, what I've been taught, what has proven itself to me is the very first time that you think a thought and it feels good, that is the first piece of manifested evidence that you have toward your new dream, goal, or desire. If you think a thought and have positive feedback, even if nothing has happened, that is a manifested thing. Now, for humans, we don't like that a thing we can't see. Nobody else can be like proud of us or patting us on the back or at a girling. So it's kind of be like, that doesn't do me any good. Well, that attitude is why it doesn't go any further. After you decide, okay, this is what I want, if you could let yourself just believe that, okay, this is what I want, this is what I'm living. They are not the same. Somewhere in the middle, things have to change, right? I may have to, anything. I mean, this really relates to any single thing that we want. And, like, it's all the same process for the same thing. For health in our body, or for improvement in a relationship, and or like work stuff, like all of the things, parenting, how the kids relate to me, you, like. So let's talk about relationships, since that's one of my like easiest to understand. I've always been kind of like a people person in a way that, I mean, I could just pretty much do it in all the ways. But so with people, when you think about being unconditional with people, when you are with or in a relationship that is already going, that relationship is alive and has momentum. It has expectation. Whether it's parent-kid, relationship with a lover or a coworker, like once you've kind of like shown up a couple times, there's expectation. You kind of know what you get. There's times when, even before you get to the person, you are already knowing what you're going to get, and your belly's already giving you those cues. Like, when you're going to dread seeing somebody that's like, ugh, and you can start to feel it. This is a sign from your emotional guidance that thought is not serving you. First of all, you're leading You're creating momentum that doesn't serve you, and you're keeping it alive. So, of course, do it once and be like, oh, yeah, I can see how that is continuously effing me up and keeping me in this loop. When we don't let ourselves think different of a situation or a segment, we maintain the loop. When we show up the same, no matter how much we want it to be different, so even if you show up in this loop and okay, so say, let's do this. Say you are having a friend or a coworker. Let's do coworker. It's kind of easy. And this coworker is the pits. She always complains. She I don't know. She does all the wrong things, right? She's always in the break room. She even cooks fish in the microwave. She is the worst, right? Okay. So how do I change a dynamic with someone like that? We're not really living with each other, so it's not like they have to really give a shit about me, but I could really deal with less of all thatness, and even the fact that this person gets me a little ramped up before I'm even there. Clearly there is something that is being triggered in me. First of all, if you're ever considering doing energy work, you gotta have to start talking to yourself like an energy body also. If you want to just bumble around and say I'm a human and this is not nice, fine. But if you want to take control of your energetic body, then start talking about the energetic body. This feels blah, blah. When it feels like something, that is your vibe. Okay? Not what you think about something, because usually you're not even sure what you think about something and you're probably not even telling the truth. But when you think about how you feel, whether you say it out loud or not, that's your vibe. If you're like, I love you, and in your stomach you're like, the universe can hear that, and that person can feel it, because that's how we communicate as vibrational beings. That's how we manifest. Okay. So say you got to go to work and this woman's the pits and it's Monday, okay? You don't want to go with, okay. So if you go in there with an attitude, well, I'm just going to avoid her, that might be good for 1 or 2 days to just let the annoyance soothe. But now if you want to start practicing unconditional in a way that you want to manifest change, you have to sort of show up to that same dynamic in your frame of mind already changed. So you could say something like, in the past, this woman is the pits and she cooks the shittiest food in the microwave. It's rude. I feel like she pollutes the whole ozone of the work office. And now I'm seeing that, and now I'm choosing to let all that go. I'm choosing to decide that maybe I met her when she was having the last bad 6 years of her life. Maybe it's time that I stop expecting this of her so that I give her space to show up different. There is this thing about humans and relationshiping. Even the best person can be not kind if you are harnessing space in your body to be a victim or to be unhappy or to be unsatisfied. If you hold that space, an energy body will fill it. It's true. So, how do you practice unconditionally changing a person that you're not really in a relationship with? Well, you decide that I'm just going to stop giving XYZ a really hard time. I'm going to just consider that maybe she's, maybe I just don't have any idea what her life is like at home, and maybe I do get tired of the complaining, but maybe I will just try to not notice the complaining. Maybe I'm going to not notice the complaining, and maybe I'm going to just be thankful for the days that the office doesn't smell like fish, and think about that. And that sounds really silly, but when you're first wanting to stop a lot of momentum, the talk is very like that. It's very like going into the core of what it is and uncoiling it and making it this very laid out, logically not even that serious sort of a thing. So if you unwind it like that, well, we have no idea what she does at home. We have no idea how people treat her in other spaces. Maybe she's never been nurtured enough to understand not complaining. Maybe that's the only attention she's ever gotten. Maybe she is so fucking unhappy and so stuck in her own loop that that's all she knows. And maybe I'm just going to stop holding space for her to stay that way in case she wants to change. Because maybe nobody expects her to do different, and that's why she never does different. Now let's pause that thought. You, as a human, you only can control your vibration, but you can absolutely influence and enhance each other's experience. So now you want to go into the workplace, and maybe a couple days you just don't do so much making contact. Maybe you just kind of let space be there. Maybe because usually you guys kind of like do grumbly faces at each other, and you just can't see going right in there the next day and trying to make a fake smile. Don't make a fake smile. If you want to be really bold, you could walk in there and be like, I feel like we could start over. Or, I feel like sometimes I come in the office and I already expect things to go a certain way, and I don't even give this place a chance, the people a chance. It could sort of be a little, you don't want to be passive aggressive, but you want to be honest and you want to own your shit. If I expect you to be a shit, you're going to be a shit even if you don't want to be. And we don't like to believe that, but that is true. That is true. So test this out. With your kid, with your lover, with your partner. If they do something that you don't love, try first looking at why you don't love it. What is it exactly? Is it just like because you're nitpicking and it's something that triggers you and it's not at all worth being mad about? Is it something that violates a boundary and it's maybe worth a conversation? Is it something that makes you feel insecure or not seen? What is it exactly about that thing that makes you have a response in your belly and in your mind that's not meeting up? And then you go right to that gut and you're like, okay, well, that's not true. I know ultimately that this person does care about me and wouldn't want me to feel insecure. And maybe we do have this pattern going on, this loop, because communication loops and relationship loops are wicked. Like, they can be, usually they're not as serving as they could be. They're way more, like, confining, and then it ultimately ends up feeling like each other feels trapped. How many friends do you know that they have, like, a boyfriend-girlfriend dynamic, and as soon as they shift into, like, now we're together, it all turns into, like, now they're broke up, because somewhere in the relationship, one of the persons is holding space for, I need this to be a real actualized relationship so I feel secure. A lot of times people do a lot better in relationships and dynamics when there's less pressures of all that label. It's easier to be friends with a work person because we just see them at work. It's easier to pick on a person that you love because they make a weird sound after they eat their food or something, and it's just like, you still do that, and they've been doing it their whole life. It's just who they are. Maybe they just suck their teeth. You know what I mean? But when we get in these more intimate relationships and those loops become so intertwined, it eventually starts to be like one ball of irritation. Someone that you once couldn't even imagine your life without can be like the most disgusting human because you just get so over it. You start picking on one thing and then you've done it. Your mind is like, oh, you want to pick on them this. Oh, this is annoying too. Oh, this is annoying too. And when you're not consciously tuning to your vibration and your thoughts, that's what happens. You go into work the first day and this lady is having a bad day, and then the next day she cooks fish and she just sucks. We're never going to like her again. Come to find out 6 years later, it was just like a misfire and a simple like lunch. How many times have you had that experience where you thought somebody was like not cool or bitch, and then you go hang out with them and have like a funny conversation or some random incident where you find something that you connect, and it just like turns the whole thing upside down. You now see this person in an entire new light because you just didn't even you weren't open to that before because you were here. This is what I expect, this is what I expect, this is what I see, because this is what I expect. I see this, I expect, and I'm seeing it. That's how our brain works. That's how we manifest. Like, we put our focus, and the universe says, here you go. Remember, there is no with universe. There is only attention means yes. Attention means yes. So if you keep paying attention to something that is annoying you, the universe will prove to you how powerful you are by giving you more annoying. Whether it's what's her name in the office complaining and cooking fish, your partner sucking his teeth and scratching his balls, like, it doesn't matter. It will be bigger, and that's the way law of attraction, creation goes. Once again, you don't have to know. And knowing is like, it's just, to me, understanding the way that things works makes it easier and more empowering to navigate things. When I first start working with people, a lot of times it's like, well, I don't really know where to start. Well, what's the easiest, most annoying thing of the day? Probably somebody at the office. Like, usually by the time we get home, this person at the office has already set us off, and we have paved the way. How we know this? God, we know I know my friends. Maybe they don't say it out loud because I can hear their brains. But like, when they know that they're every day or this day, their partner does this passive aggressive shit to start a fight so that they can go out on that night and get wasted and don't want to take me or her or them. Like, that loop is real. That person knows that you don't want them to go. They know that if they get a fight, they get to go. And even if they don't want to fight, the program is there. And even if they try to not fight, you're going to know you're going to know the fight's coming. So now you have two people with high expectation and no reason not to work. You know? When it's a person with... So say you show up and you're in this workspace, or say you show up and you're in this home space. Is something wrong, or are you just needing things? Can you do words? Because I can't see.
No.
Do you need something?
No.
Cool. So when you are wanting a new experience with a same old person, you have to reach for an unconditional shift, which means you have to see the shift already happening, feel how it's going to feel in your belly, and without the manifest, you have to begin to stir that energy like it's already happening. You are like an energetic motor ball in your belly and in your mind and in the heart. And if you can get those three to sync up and cooperate with you, you can literally manifest anything you want. Whether it's, again, work, body, buddies, all the things. It's all the same for all the things. Yes, people are a little bit more interesting because we each have our own thinking mind, which is why the most awesomest creations come when two aligned beings sync up, and it's like synchronicity, sync up, not a coincidence. The universe aligned. I was waiting for my intuitive guidance. She was waiting for her intuitive guidance. And now we got this magical whole entire experience. Sometimes that happens when you sync up with somebody who you haven't been having a good experience with, and you accidentally sync up, and that just changes everything. In the matter of a conversation, someone that you could not think a nice thought about, you want to have dinner, and now you want to, and it just it literally you have done this. This is that for all of the parts. It isn't random. It is completely how we were designed to create. We were... I don't know. Okay. So in our human body, we were designed to utilize intuition, gut feelings, and heart emotion. All those things. That is the the gift of being a human. That is why people say that we were made in God's creation, because God wanted to come into body and use that thinking mind to let the things that feel good come in a tangible form. If you think about how we experience energy here, it's very subtle. And when you think about how we experience manifestations here, it's really tactile and gross and delicious, you know? So if you could imagine just being all of the things and everything, the only thing that would be better than that is being able to feel it and to taste everything and to hear everything with actual ears. Like, not just be the vibration of everything, but to experience it itself. It's kind of like a dang delicious ball of self. Am I allowed to say that? Yeah, I mean, I was going to say self-masturbation, but what other masturbation would it be? But it's kind of like that. Like, that's some stuff. If you think about, like, how we recreate, how all that's designed, and I'm not talking about the bad stuff that happens. I'm talking about 5D Earth, where we don't do terrible things to each other anymore, where we just, like, love unabashedly and create and expand and evolve and shift and complete this part of the experiment. Anyway, it's weird to say these things out loud because these are things that I am still letting myself believe in my own experience, as far as I have been working and understanding the other alive and cooperative dimensions do sometimes freak me out to say out loud. Because while it doesn't feel weird to talk about how well I can hear my source, Rose, it does feel weird when we start talking about other species that influenced the creation of a human being. Because I don't know if we're all there yet. And I don't know. I guess I don't care. I do care. I do care. I do. Of course I care. I care. It's just, you know, I can't care that much. Or if I cared, then I'm being conditional. And then I have to act like you expect me to act. And then I don't like myself. And then we're right back where I started from. And I got to do shadow work about my insecureness. And then God knows what could happen if I have to do another. We all see how Nancy does shadow work. It doesn't have to be that dramatic for you all, just so you know. It's just part of my human design was to come live very out loud. And, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So if you want to practice unconditioned, you practice living in something that you want to manifest before it's manifested. Practice living unmanifestationally. Unmanifestationally. So, okay, how does this work if you want a new partner and you don't know how to align to that? It's a new moon. I am lonely. My heart is broken. I want this. I want dinner. I want cuddles. I want to be the little spoon. You know, all those, write it all down. And then at that point, if you were doing a ritual or a practice or whatever, if you're just doing, you don't even have to call it a ritual. You could just do this in your own right in the office or on a bench next to the pool. Like, it doesn't have to be like candles and beautiful with the moon, but it just feels fucking good. So again, alchemy is literal. It's true. It is there to help assist your allowing. If it takes you to light some shit on fire to believe that it's been heard, light the shit on fire. If it takes you to dunk your body in a body of water to call this cleansing a cleansing, do that. If you can believe that Source hears you and loves you and adores you and wants to serve you, and that first feeling of feedback means that it agrees, you agree with you and your big you get it and want to do it, and you can let that fuel your allowing. You don't have to do anything except for think and feel. Think and feel. And once you get to moving around like that, if you guys could see the way that me and Mary carry on when we are in our ping, because we both practice allowing our intuition. We like to practice sharing it. And when you do something like that, just yourself, anybody that teaches intuition building, teaching, or learning knows when you're first practicing, it is imperatively important to self-recognize, self-celebrate, acknowledge it, notice it, say it right out loud, write it down, high five the air, whatever it is, notice it. You see 555? I see you. Whatever it is, notice it and acknowledge it. Because the first couple of lightning bugs, the first couple of days after, first couple of moments after you make a wish, if you are willing to turn off the asker and begin to turn on your allower, your intuition. Remember, if you're asking, you cannot hear. If you're talking, you cannot hear. If you're worrying, you're not engaging in your intuition. This is all that I teach. Everything is based off being led by your intuition. Down to what you eat, when you go to sleep, when you wake up, how far you walk, how much yoga you do, how much you think about a person, how much you blah, 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 blah. It's like everything that I do now is from the most aligned space. Sometimes I get up at 4 in the morning. Sometimes I get up at 5:50 in the morning. It's really weird when I get up at 5:50. But not terrible. Like today was a 5:50 day. And it has been quite impressive. Actually, I'm realizing it is a Wednesday, and I woke up feeling a Thursday. I broke my beloved bong. I did not let it get me down. I actually kind of celebrated and rejoiced because I knew it was coming, and it was freakier than I expected, and it wasn't my... So I was like, whoa! You know? I have been having this loop of my W days being a little WONKY, and I'm over it, so I've been purposely tuning those, and I'm just realizing that I have lived through this Wednesday, and I have enjoyed this Wednesday a lot. And it has taken me 2 Wednesdays in a row to get... So the first one, I was like, okay, I'm done with my Wednesday drama. Same thing I did with Mondays. And I don't know how, somehow, like, it belly buttoned. All of a sudden, my Wednesdays turned into my Monday, and I'm like, wait, what? I love all my days. So now I love all my days again. I just realized, yay! Man, I'm doing really good at this. I fixed the weekends. The weekends were hard. It was like all mom and kids. So little fun for this one. You know, my vehicle is like days from being parked where I can put my sweet ass in it and drive it whenever I want. But I'm still waiting to shift there, you know? So it's like, I mean, I don't do video games. I don't watch TV. Because those are not programs that I wish to receive or recreate. I don't want to recreate what the fuck they're doing. I want to create what I want to do, you know? And again, you don't have to take that as serious. Okay, I did watch an episode of Schitt's Creek the other day, and it was funny. And then I was like, okay, I need to get up and move. Sometimes I like to watch oceans shows because I like to think about the times that my soul embodied other creatures, which that's some shit right there, y'all. You know I got a whale thing. You know I was a whale? I know that's crazy. It's so dang cool that I'm like such a small person and I used to be a whale, which makes sense. Like which is what Nancy said too. It was like when I was trying to convince myself that I was probably really once upon a time a whale, if I kept telling myself I was, and being so infatuated and all the learning, like when I first found this out, I would have the most strangest epiphanies of knowledge of a whale that made no sense. Why do I know about whales and building submarines. It doesn't belong to make sense, except that it's something that my soul was like, and I'm like, wow, for real? You know? So when I was first learning how to like my body, because when I first came to this work, when it was about vibration, and I had already stopped doing the negative self-talk. I took a little bit of work from a man, Robert, and he was very masculine, like, stop doing this, stop saying these words. We don't say should, we don't say try. What was it? Stop negative self-talk. Everything was like, stop, do, which in the beginning I kind of needed those, like, strict shifts, because I was coming from a place where it wasn't a healthy space to be living here in my space. I was, wanting to hurt myself and wickedly depressed, like, tapped out, way, way, way past the point of this is not a good time anymore. So the work did have to be a little like, okay, we are done dragging our feet. There are some things that you have got to stop doing right now. And those were the first three. It was stop the negative self-talk, the certain words, I have them written down, that I was no longer going to use. And stop procrastinating. And it took me a minute to stop that one. Because everything I had to stop procrastinating, I hated doing. But that's when my actual best coach person started talking to me about vibration. And it was radical self-acceptance at first. And that means acceptance of the job that I was doing, the relationship that I was in, the body that I was in. It all had to be okay as fast as I could get it okay. So with my job, because Robert had made me stop procrastinating already, I had caught myself experiencing a little bit of loop. This was before I learned about loops, where when I stopped procrastinating, I was accidentally giving myself more time. That's, I think, what triggered me into, like, okay, maybe there's something going on here. Yeah? Okay, Bub, I'm going to come put you to bed because Chloe doesn't want you on her body.
No.
Well, come sit here for a minute.
I want him.
She don't want to snuggle you. She don't want you to climb on her.
I want to hug with you.
I will snuggle you.
But you're not a mom. You are catfish.
I'm a catfish?
She's not a catfish.
I was a whale, but I don't think I was a catfish.
You're all real.
Yeah, Hey, get that away from the pool. So in the beginning it was acceptance, and my body, I couldn't lie. I knew that was a rule. We can't lie. I can't say I'm beautiful, because I'd be like, no, you're not. Now I'm kind of beautiful. I feel all right to say that. It's not necessarily my favorite word I say to myself, but I believe all humans are beautiful, and of course I'm beautiful because I'm me. You're beautiful when you are you, and my kids are beautiful because they're beautiful, and Harry's beautiful. But, like, the more that you are yourself, the more you just become naturally beautiful, because you just ooze all goodness. Like, the more that people act like their self, they just look good. The more people are confident in their body, they just look good. Even, this. Everybody knows this. We all have these folks that we could deem unattractive by, like, society's rules. You know what I mean? Maybe they got, like, crazy eyebrows or I don't know, some funky hairline. I don't know. But because of the way they carry themselves, it's just like this magnetism. It's like, it doesn't even matter that their hair is jacked up. You just want it, Sorry, there's bugs flying on my nose. It's not really happening, but my brain is thinking so. So then, my first reach for body was my hands, because I've always liked that I have small hands. And because I'm a girl, and that's not fair to say, but it's true. It's because I'm a girl. And I'm in my 40s. So in my age and in my girlness, all the girls and all the ages that I know, I almost know no girls that have not had like body images, you know? And then I was a heavy set person and a small person. And then I was a person that lost 100 pounds and gained it back. So talk about just being insecure. I felt like insecure and a failure. Like, who does that? Like, that's not like, you know, you would think you could lose that much weight and keep it off for that long. Like, wow, you know, like I let myself really lean into the beat up on that. So I wanted to stop, like, trying to change my body. I wanted to stop trying to lose weight. I just wanted to be okay. I just wanted to be, like, I could look in the mirror and just be satisfied with my reflection. I had, so when I first started, so let's say, when I first decided to quit, like, the scale and dieting, and I decided to let it be a vibrational journey, which was not about losing weight. And it wasn't about, like, finding this magical loop. It was about, I give up. Like, I'm done. I don't like the way that it feels when I'm constantly monitoring myself. I don't think I'm really getting anywhere. And I'm really tired of it. It's too consuming. It doesn't feel good when I fixate on it. And ultimately, when I'm doing better, I physically feel worse. You know? Like, that's how diets kind of reward you. The more you suffer, the more you're supposed to allow a good feeling. That's some abusive shit, y'all. So, I knew that that was not going to be good for me anymore. And so I decided to start one thing at a time, as my coach said, just pick one thing. And I said, find my hands. And then I was in the bathroom at my old house, and it was like a small bathroom, like you sit down, and it's like almost like a stall at a bar or a restaurant, Nancy, where you shut the door, and it's like the door is here. So I was sitting there. Also, so I was sitting on the toilet. And I don't think I was really using the bathroom. I just was it was a downstairs bathroom, so I kind of was, like, hiding from the kids. So I went in there, and I just kind of, like, put my feet on the wall, and I sat back. And I was really enjoying the fact that I was, like, kind of squished up in this space. I wasn't feeling all, like, too big for myself. It was just kind of funny. And I said to myself, I can see why I chose this body. And when I said those words out of my mouth, sitting on the toilet with my feet on the door frames, something unlocked in my brain. And I was like, I can actually see why I chose this body. But this was before, long before, any of the other things. Like, long before. And I just started to run with it, like, wow, I kind of like this body. I'm short. I have been able to, like, sneak in and out of spaces even when I was heavy. I could go into a whole bar full of people and make my way around there like this little sneaky, which I was very sneaky back then, and nobody would even notice me. And I let that kind of be a thing that I self-appreciated. Maybe even, like, self-celebrated, like, I can see. So, and my coach said, once you get a piece of it, run with it. So every time I would find myself in an opportunity to, like, acknowledge that again, I was, like, 185 pounds, so I was not a skinny or a small person by any means. I was still a bigger body. I'm not even 5 foot tall. Like, that's a lot to be put in this middle space. You know, those are my herbs, and this is my phone, and you could come this way.
I do.
Which I'm not saying it's anything, but there was still a whole lot of Nancy happening here. And it was those words that let it start to open up in a way that I just stopped beating myself up, and I made it a game about well, let's find ways that I can appreciate this aspect of my body. And that was my best coach's recommendation, was make a game of it. Which is why when it started as my hands, I liked my hands were there's no one, almost no one, except unless they're under 10, that has hands smaller than me. And because I was always feeling too big for my space, even when I didn't feel that I was a fat-bodied person, I just felt too big. I was noisy, or I wasn't enjoyable, and it felt icky to be in my body. It felt icky to be so unwanted by everybody around me, but I couldn't let go of that feeling for anybody around me to change. All they could see was this person who just constantly feels icky. And even though they know, I don't believe people wanted to be mean or icky back, I was literally attracting that part of them over and over. All the spaces, like people that were not even really in my relationships, or people that I didn't even really. It could go on and on. Like, it matters in all the things. So it started with that, and I just really started appreciating my body. And then next thing you know, I started noticing my clothes, and it was that. I stopped looking at all the things. The coach said, don't look in the mirror, I didn't really go anywhere at the time, and she said, fine, take advantage of that, and don't get yourself dressed to go out just give it a little while. Just give it a little while practicing this self-acceptance thing, and it really didn't take long. The hands, I think it was hands the one day, and then the next day it was, I can see why I chose the body. And again, it was just the size and the, small shortness. That's what I was thinking on. And then I was thinking about being sneaky. And then it was kind of it was like my own little superpower. And I remembered being a kid and wishing I could be kind of invisible. So I was letting myself kind of run with that. I'm telling you, it was a couple of weeks, and I noticed my pants were really loose. And at first I was I didn't think anything of it. But then it just became so apparent. It was now ridiculous. And I feel like I stepped on the scale, and without even noticing, I think I had lost something ridiculous, 10 or 15 pounds. And to me, as a person who weighed herself every morning, I'd wake up and go pee, and before I would brush my teeth, I would step on the scale, because I didn't even want that one swallow of water to be in the weight. That is how much I looked at it. I was so obsessed. And it was insane. So it literally was complete shock when I was holy fuck, how did I just lose 10 pounds? I hadn't changed anything. I hadn't started eating differently. I didn't start exercising. I did nothing different. And my coach was make that a game too. So I said, I can make losing weight without trying a game. And she says, why not? You just did it. And I said, kinda. I said, okay. Well, it seems like every time I step on the scale these days, it just keeps going down. And she says, well, that's a really fun word to practice. That's a fun verse to practice. I said, okay. I was well, every time I step on the scale, I seem to lose a pound. And I wasn't trying to lose a pound a day. That's creepy and unhealthy, because I was already off the scale, for those couple of weeks. So again, we wouldn't start doing unhealthy habits. She said, if you want to do it, you can get on the scale twice a week. So I was every time I get on the scale, I lose weight. And damn sure enough, I was writing it down. And sometimes it would just be a half a pound. But from Monday to Friday to lose a half a pound, that hurts. That weight came off like magic. I started playing a game on Instagram, I think, because I had lost 40 some pounds on Atkins before I gave up. I was like, Atkins is hard. Yeah, it's helpful. If I ever needed a like Western medicine kind of a metabolic reset, I would do that again. I don't plan to do that, but if I needed it, I like what I learned about my body eating that way. I like how I felt, but I don't want to live that strict. I like chocolate, and I need all the things. So I had a game like, Atkins 42 pounds. What was I calling it? Happy accidents. That's what it was. Happy accidents 20. Atkins 42. Happy accidents 30. And just like any other weight loss space, as you get down to the end, your body doesn't want to keep losing weight. It just gradually, without trying, just kept shifting. Dude, you need bed? You seem like you need bed. Bless you. Come up. Why are you trying to come through me? Around me. Thank you. Bless you. So.
Ma, coffee don't hear.
No. Oh, no.
I want to go to bed.
Okay, can I finish talking? I'll take you to bed. I'll snuggle you for 1 minute. So, I have it tagged. Actually, then I realized that hashtags don't get seen by just me. I did not know I was on hashtags. That was all Rose's idea. She's so flickin' smart. If I could just go on and on about how much of a genius she is, it would just... I'm telling you. I have this... I know it's going to happen one day. It may already exist. There is this generator where I can plug in my... Stop. You're making me throw up in my belly. Where I can plug in my name. Stop! And then I could type in... you're going to have to get off me because that's my body. I could type in my name and type in the hashtag and it'll... Because Rose has been keeping stories linked all along this whole time. When I first started using hashtags, I was anti-hashtag, just like everything that I ever have liked, loved, and fallen in love with. I hated it at first, and I didn't believe it, and I thought it was bullshit. So hashtags, I was like, fucking hate hashtags. And then I started making the most ridiculous hashtags. And of course, I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I wasn't trying... I don't really know what I was doing. Actually, you know what? The funny thing is, she just told me, I was making up my own random ass hashtags because first of all, no one else would use them. So they would be stable markers, tracers that I could type in and find 4 years of Nancy's healing journey, Nancy's self-love journey. That is some smart stuff that y'all know I can barely end this conversation when we hang up. I didn't think of that. It was just a year ago when something happened. And I was like, you motherfucker, I see what you did there. You know? So yes, Rose is the genius of the operation. I am the master allower. My inner child is my wanter. And that's how we manifest. That's how I section my being into the 3 and address the whole of me, and that's how like my healing has evolved. Like Tuesday is just inner child day. Yeah, I still have to do laundry and take care of the actual children and all the Tuesday things, but my alignment is focused on pure just joy, ridiculous, whatever Nancy wants. If she wants to like wear a tutu and do yoga on the front steps, eating bonbons, that's what we do. Like literally, as redonkulous as I can be. I've noticed, I think my inner child matured over the weekend. Has anybody else ever had that happen? I have to ask. I'm so glad you guys reminded me of that. Because I was totally like prepared for ridiculous and she wasn't interested. And I'm like, well, what's going on? And it just felt like a shift. Like, oh my God. Whoa, I just had a freaking explosion. I'm not ready to share that out loud. But I'm gonna, because remember, did I talk to you guys about this the other day about when we are encounter trauma as a young child, and we create these emotional programs. So we all know this. Oh God, this is not to be mean, but I find this mostly with my lady friends. They're man partners, that they find that they don't have like emotional maturity. Like it's almost like it's stopped at a point. Well, the thing about like my kind of work and codependency and what a lot of people go through is they create these coping mechanisms and these programs, like trauma responses, and it starts from the age at which that coping mechanism was born. So, for example, me knowing that I sound unsmart, that was from way back when I was a kid. And now I know that I'm like one of the smartest people that I know. I know that I can carry a conversation maybe almost better than anybody I know, which is why I'm so fucking bored all the time. But unless I'm working, which is also why it was easy for me to understand how I became rigid, which was not what I were. That was Rose's word. But, because I just got so into the learning piece that I stopped bringing the social piece, But that's okay, because that's where we're coming out now. It's like, okay, let's come back to humans, and we're leaving the 4D. Let all the jokes come. God, that's funny. But, everyone's healing journey is different, and it's true. Like, we go through different spaces where we want interaction, and then we need to be inward and alone, and we need to integrate it, and we need to let ourselves feel it before other people do, because a lot of times when we reach into this new space, one of the biggest setbacks is when you show up to some place and somebody expects you to act a certain way and you don't. Just like that lady at the office. She doesn't want to always be in a bad mood, but everybody expects it, and they treat her like it's going to happen, and she just is, When you go to the space, obviously I get it. It's weird. I'm at the bar. Why am I not drinking? But you drink. You've been drinking and getting high for 10 years, dude. Don't fake it now. That's the kind of looks I get. Please. You know what I mean? You were just passed out in the bathroom with your pants off 4 years ago. Don't even try and play cool now. That's a true story. It happened. And my biggest thing, please tell me nobody took pictures. Also, because myself, anytime something else take a picture first. I was like, oh my God, I know I'm on somebody's fucking camera. God, I already know whose. Fuck, I hate that. Anyway, whatever. Live and learn. That will never happen to me again. That's for damn sure. So yeah. God, I even know that. Oh my stars. Oh my stars. Oh, poor baby girl. It's this space where you can start to do it all. Oh my God, I'm having chills all over my body. The forgiveness, guys. Of all that ridiculousness. And it's funny because I know that I talk about the stuff that I do, but I don't always talk about ending up in the bathroom at Fraser's, locked in the door, and they had to call my then husband to come carry me home, and I tried to fight with him about it the next day because I didn't even remember. God, guys. Some scary times in Nancy land, that is for sure. And in the beginning of trying to do that shift where I didn't want to, obviously that part, I decided, okay, I can't drink liquor. It surely wasn't going to be I was going to quit drinking. I still drank for 3 years after that. I was kicked out of Fraser's for a year. That sucked. It's please, I promise I won't lock myself in the bathroom anymore and leave drugs on the bar. So bad. So bad. so like far away from what I live now that it is. Like, I can talk about it out loud and I don't feel ashamed. I can talk about it out loud and I can kind of laugh about it. And I forgive myself so deeply for it. Like, I know I was hurting. I know it was a mess. You know, no, it wasn't okay. I know it wasn't okay. It wasn't okay because that's how I felt about myself. That was what's not okay. I'm sorry to the people that were waiting to go to the bathroom at Fraser's, but that was the least of the problem happening in that building. You know, how I felt about me was a clear problem, you know. But it took time to shift because there was 10 years of momentum, 20 years of drinking, 10 years of at least once a week cocaine use, if not for a couple of those years every day. There was a couple of years in a row where it was every single day. It was like at least like one bump a day. That's a lot. That's a lot of momentum. That's a lot of a habit to slow down, you know? And you can't expect to just pull the brakes and go from, I want this, praying on the moon and wake up and here you are, 500 and fucking however many days sober. That's a big fucking commitment that I wanted. And I just thought if I could make it to 30 days, and I didn't even tell anybody till I was already 2 weeks in, because I've done that before too. I told my drug dealer at the time, I'm taking a break, don't sell me anything. And then I get drunk and I call and I'm like, hey. He's like, you told me. I was like, dude, you know, what the fuck? La. Do your job. Dang, I was a monster. Woo-wee. Unconscious Nancy. Unconscious blackout drunk Nancy. It's like all the suppressed parts, all that emotionally stunted stuff from when I was like in abusive relationships or being programmed to be quiet and being told I was not smart and not pretty. Like, that was who came out when I got drunk. You know what I mean? It was like all the worst parts of me just like, and then it became like a button, just the same way that I can close my eyes and breathe and find that I had to practice on the yoga mat for so long, because I literally would have to go put my ass, just sit on the mat, Nancy, just sit on the mat. Even the other day, had a remembering, like, I was kind of in a little bit of a pause, like, you know, sometimes in the middle of allowing and not having it manifested yet. When you're practicing unconditional, it does feel a little like work to begin that emotional ball, to get it rolling. But that's the hardest part of creation, is not letting the ball go back down the hill. You just gotta hold it. Just don't drop the ball. Even if you can't physically push it up the hill every day, just keep it where it is. And then the next time you can get a piece of it, take it and fucking run it into the ground. And celebrate that piece. And the sooner that you and your intuition can figure out your language, how you receive, how you hear, how you just kind of know something, how you just let your body gravitate, or how you eat what you want to eat, or move what you want to move, or think how you want to think, how you see the person at work, how you see your partner. The sooner that you can start to see your connection to how you feel in your belly and how they show up, and then let yourself have a taste of it. Decide, I'm going to try this out. I'm going to decide that my vibration matters here, and that this person couldn't be triggering me if I wasn't holding a space for it. This person wouldn't be annoying if I wasn't holding space for it. I'm going to let that go and see if the universe will show me a different version of this person. Maybe it's just that. And then the next day, maybe you are still in that mindset, you get ready to go into that segment. Segment intending is wickedly helpful. It just keeps you reminding. It's not reminding of what you want to create. That's not what you want to do. Every time you retell a story, you're like kind of stunting your energy flow. You don't have to tell the story because now you're talking. You need to flow. You need to be intuiting. You need to intuit, you know? You need to be into it. Like, feel into it. You be in it and you get intuition and you follow that step. If you are feeling in a relaxed space, anything that you're doing, you could be considering yourself in a receptive space, and in any moment, while washing the dishes, sweeping the floor, you could receive an idea, a nugget, a download, a flash, a synchronicity, and consider that a part of the puzzle. On those first 5 days, it's going to be just those sorts of things. And you have to know, ooh, energy's moving. Energy's moving. I'm seeing 555. Energy's moving. I just saw another kangaroo. Yeah, it was stuffed animal. Yes, it was from McDonald's. Yes, it was face down, ass up. Someday. You know? But it was still a kangaroo. What are you doing here, universe? Are we going to Australia? Whatever, I'm here for it. I probably need a passport for that, though, right? Guys. Oh, I could talk for hours and hours and hours. I've already talked for an hour. And I want to just keep going. But practice it. Practice being unconditional about something that you don't care enough about. If it's like, God, every time I order food from here, it sucks. How about, I think the food sucks because I expect it to. I think the next time I go there, I'm going to order, I'm going to say the words a little different, and my meal is going to be amazing. And see what happens. That might be a reach, but we're picking something that you don't really care about so that you don't have resistance. Sorry, my eyeballs are itchy. Not sorry, my eyeballs are itchy, because unapologetic is the word of the year. Yeah. Practice it. Whether it's somebody at a job, if it's like a bedtime thing, like my bedtime with my kids. Do you see this kid? He came over and said, I want to go to bed. You can't see him because it's dark. And he went right down, he laid right down and went to sleep next to me. After he just came and told me, I want to go to bed. And I said, can you wait? And now he went to sleep. You know what happens when I take him to bed? He lets me tuck him in and I walk away. We go potty, brush teeth, put on a diaper, tuck in, peace out. And then I was like, wait, why can't my days just be like that? The universe said, I've been trying to tell you that for a whole long time. I said, so, dear Facebook, I do not earn the rights to this music. Oh my God. I love life so much, friends. Let yourself love life. It's so much more fun. I'm gonna go carry my little love muffin to bed. Oh my God, he's so cute. He was beating up Chloe. That's how I knew he was getting tired. He was like, Mom, I want to go to bed. Oh my God, I wish you could see his face. I'll try, because, you know, it's just so good. It's there. It's going to work. Look. Look at this cute little boot. He done laid right down and put himself to night-night. That's some good stuff, y'all. I can help you fix your parenting vibration, your love vibration, your body vibration, and in like 2 months, 3 months, Nancy. 3 months. I'll be teaching you money too. Because I'm just a nerd like that. And I can't help it. Oh, I got chills. It's true. 3 months? Woohoo! I move so fast these days. 5 D's place to be. Alright. So many jokes. Oh, God, I want to tag all the friends. Only just one right here. I'm going to tag him. He won't watch all this video, but maybe he'll find it right there. We have a really funny joke about this. Oh my God, my phone is so bright in my eyeballs. That's what she said. It's not working. Come here. See if he laughs. Because it is funny. Alright, I'm going to go put my little Skibble to bed. And I feel like I haven't had real food. I was drinking some soup out of a cup. And then I had some Swiss rolls. I made some coconut shrimp with that orange dippy sauce. It's my favorite dippy sauce. I think I eat most of the foods for the sauce. But yeah. Alright. I'll see you guys later. Bye.